So I'm going to take a few minutes today just to kind of walk through some questions I've been receiving about this helmet. I've been having it and riding it around now for, I would say, the last 3.5–4 months, during which time I've done a mix of winter riding across back roads, through town, motorway trips of about 100 miles. And normally wearing it about 2 to 3 hours in a stretch with a little break in between, but longest wear time back to back has been 2 hours, then taking it off half an hour, putting it back on. And I've thought I'd answer some of the questions I've been receiving in the video where I did the install of the visor, pin lock and the peak. So first set of questions most people have asked is about noise. Now, I normally ride with little foam earplugs, and I actually find this very quiet. I've had an HJC previously, and the HJC I had before was CS15, the Star Wars Stormtrooper one, and that actually, even with earplugs, was quite noisy, especially at motorway speeds. This, however, is quieter. And it's actually quieter than my other helmet, which I'll probably do another video on because it's got a very similar approach. Things that I have noticed is the clip to bring it up and down here. Engaging it while it's on my face can be a little bit difficult. Sometimes I have to hold the back a bit to make it engage into place and lock. Minor thing, but that's not a huge deal. The pin lock, I have found, has been fantastic. So it came with the pin lock in the box. You have to install it yourself. It's not pre-installed, but it took me a few minutes to install, and since then I've been riding with it very, very cold, knocking around between 2 and 6 degrees. Through town, I've not had to crack the visor pretty much at all, except if I've been sat there in real traffic, and even then a small crack of just the first level here clears it in seconds. With the pin lock as well, the ventilation around the front, I actually ride most of the time with it open, but it is relatively easy to poke and prod as you're riding along in gloves. The top vent here I've just kept, I think it slides forwards and back, yeah, or it's just kept open because I like the ventilation through. So the ventilation I find is superb. I have impacted the ventilation somewhat. So if we open up here, you'll see I've got my boom mic fitted, and that slots in just in front of the vent. Not a problem, and with communications, you can't hear any wind noise going through the boom mic, so that is very, very nice. As we arrive down the motorway, one of the things you will be slightly aware of is catching wind with the visor, the peak. I don't find I catch too much wind because I normally ride this on my Versys 650, which has quite a good screen, so the air goes over the top. There is a little bit of buffeting as you look left and right, and there's a little bit of vibration. There is one particular speed where my head is in a particular place and the wind is flowing over, where there's an ever so slight whistle, and it comes and goes, and it's, I think, about 62 miles an hour. And if the wind's coming head on, where it whistles slightly through the peak, but then 1 mile over, you don't even notice it. The other question regarding wind noise is, how bad is the visor, which we've already gone through, don't notice it. Say earplugs on the side, not a problem. I have also installed my Lexin Intercom, so I can speak to my wife and listen to music, I suppose, if I'm going along. I don't tend to do that very often, and that we'll go through in a bit of a second. But just above it, you'll see here is the slider for the drop-down face shield. That's my problem with it. So you'll see here, it goes down. To bring it back up, you have to do a really firm slide. Now, as I'm riding along, I'll get sometimes to that point and then not realise it's all the way up, and you can see it's dropped down just a little bit here, and it's a bit of a forceful last click. Moderately annoying, not annoying enough to be a problem. Other than that, I'm very happy, especially for the price point. It's quiet, as I say, but then I do usually ride with earplugs, so I don't notice too much. Comfort and fit, I wear a size large, and I've had large in all my HJC helmets, and they've all fit much the same, so if you do run a large in HJC at the moment, not a problem. On the interior, padding, I feel like the padding's improved, it got a little bit thicker, but it is very comfortable. I do like my ratchet straps, so that makes my life a little bit easier. And I find with the peak and the sun visor, even in the winter months, I can always see without having to squint, which is the main reason I went for this helmet. I did mention I've installed my Lexin Intercom. That is not the standard intercom you can buy for this, which is the HJC Smart, based off of a Senna, or provided by Senna. I did not want to buy a new intercom because I've had this, it works great, I have no real problems. And the earpieces for this do slot in. There is beautiful channeling on the inside here to run all your wiring in. If you have the unit that connects up at the bottom here by HJC themselves, as you can see I've just wired mine in so it tucks underneath here. There is again a wiring point for the boom mic. I've actually gone above that so my mic comes in round so it opens and closes easily. I think with the standard one it would be much the same, if not better, but it just goes to show that you can put any unit on this and there's no real issues whatsoever. I think for the $150 that people are charging, or at least I paid, it's a very, very solid helmet. The comfort is there, the lightness is very good. I do wear it quite happily with no problems. I'm able to go into the petrol station, flip up the lid, pay. I can hear everything on the road around me without it being oppressive. There's no buzzing or vibrations when we go through. The ventilation works quite nicely. When I do have the intercom when we're talking, I can hear very happily. There's no noise coming through my mic when she's listening to me. And the clip takes a bit of practice to get your finger underneath there, but that's it. I think for the price point, it's a very good helmet. I've not really got any negativeness to say. Say the slider there is my real main gripe, and the fact that sometimes I require two hands to shut it. But yeah, for $150, it is a very good modular helmet. All right, if anyone has any more questions, put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them as I go along. So I've had enough comments now on the installation, so I thought I'd just do 5 minutes walking you through my impressions so far after 3 months. All right, thanks very much.